Taxi! Anyway, that was good.
What other ones do we want?
All of them.
All of them. Right, let's go back to the top then. Cool. Well, we've only done about 2. This is going to be a long old podcast episode. You can make 10 episodes out of this. Right, you are dropping off at the Landmark Hotel.
Thank you for supporting our channel. Thank you for supporting Wizan. Please like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell for any future videos.
And for this example, I didn't explain it, but I was referring to, maybe that persuade the answers, but I was referring to the side that looks directly at Marylebone Station taxi rank.
Yes.
So underneath that awning inside there. So you're dropping off there. Opposite, you can see, it says here, opposite you can see taxis ranking at Marylebone Station. The concierge is eager to load a new passenger into your taxi. Do you take the job, because concierge knows best, tell the concierge they need to hail a taxi from the rank, and then the final option is depends on the customer's mobility requirements.
Oh, go on, Dave. You go first. I got mine on this one straight away.
Have you?
Yeah.
But are they ranking for the station or the hotel? That's what I would first think. So they're ranking for the station, aren't
Absolutely.
they? So that's
the hotel's mine. I got no do.
So I would say that. But yes, again, it goes back to being what Tom said earlier about being nice, doesn't it?
No, I'm not going to be nice.
But ranks don't just
nice.
serve the establishment they're outside of. They do serve the kind of immediate area.
Again, that goes to distance.
Yeah.
What we said.
Yeah.
Nah.
I've always said that. Like, yeah. Well, so if they don't walk out of Oxford Street's not a great example because that's just the Wild West, isn't it?
They're servicing the plot that they're on. That's it. So it's on Marylebone Station. That services the people coming out of the station. You want to have everything. You want to be now servicing the streets and whatever. The hotel on the other side of the road. Nah.
Because going by that, that's then saying that there's, I don't know, Trinity Square, Citizen M example. I'm at that rank there by Tower Hill, and someone's on the street, and then a cab just comes past and can nick it.
Yeah,
because they've not come out of the hotel.
You didn't put that example. You should have put
no,
that.
No, but I'm coming back to your response.
I mean,
there.
we're going to be a little bit borderline of how close we are. If I'm side by side sitting on a taxi that's on the rank there and then, I mean, I'll probably say that's on the rank.
Yeah.
But as I move further along, maybe 10, 15 metres.
But it's not specific to the establishment, surely.
That rank is fit.
If you're at Hamleys in the middle of Regent Street, so you're kind of you're that side or that side.
Yep.
You think it's just for Hamleys?
No, but it is for Hamleys. But
it is for Hamleys, but you can pick up in that kind of just immediate area around you.
That's true. But again, the driver is probably sitting there waiting to go on Hamleys, looking the wrong way. So if you're coming up Regent Street and he's looking the wrong way and the fare's on the left,
you're looking to see what this driver's got his newspaper up.
Is he going to come over to them on the left to get it, or is he still going to go over to the right to get his Hamleys? The face is north, isn't it?
It faces north, yeah.
So you're coming up northbound. You're on the left. Someone's waved you down. And the rank is 3 or 4 cabs. You're at the back of that rank, technically.
Yeah.
It's your fare. I pick it up.
It's all about the closeness, isn't it, really? Because that's pretty close to the Landmark Hotel, Marylebone Station. And you can actually see each other and recognise each other.
Okay,
it's that close, isn't it?
There's a really simple thing to this then. The concierge, is he going to call a cab from that rank? Is he going to whistle? If there's no cabs coming, is he going to call that cab from that rank, or is he going to call the cab that's coming by? Because the concierge wants his passengers in that cab, and he's not going to be sending them over to Marylebone Station. He's going to be putting them in.
And he might have been burnt before if he's tried to hail a cab from the rank, and the geezer at the front of the rank is like, I'm not coming over there, because he might be, going around might have had an unruly cab driver.
No, I definitely think that that's a separate issue completely. The rank for Marylebone Station is feeding Marylebone Station.
Right, so 77% of people said, tell the concierge they need to hail a taxi from the rank.
Tell them they're all wrong, and if they want to fight about it, right?
Here's your address in Turkey.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all, but I also have my Joker card to play, which is I would never argue about any of it, no matter what happens.
14% said depends on the customer's mobility requirements, and 9% said take the job, concierge knows best.
Yes. I'm in the 9% on that one.
You are.
Oh,
remember, this is only about 300 respondents of what, 15,000 cab drivers?
Yeah. Once you get more respondents, there'll be much more that agree with me.
280 people hate you.
So
no, I think this is a misconception, and I think I would like to know the age. And
this is about 2% of our workforce.
Yes, I would like to know their age group, because I would suspect that the age group that is more modern is going to have that view, and the old schoolers would say that rank was Marylebone Stations.
Well, this is probably like the most militant and doggish of cab drivers, because it was Twitter that I got them from. If I put this on LinkedIn, this would be like the most positive survey ever, wouldn't it?
It's,
If I don't know, man. Like maybe we should all just take a day off and forget about driving taxis.
we should do a knowledge student version. Let them answer it. Just they should be able to
Rewrite the rules.
They should tick. You need a tick box. You need to know the demographic of the things you're doing. Are you a knowledge student? Are you a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year veteran kind of idea? So you would get a cross section of the view of the age of the driver, what they think.
Well, this could be the other thing. This could be private hire drivers hijacking my survey.
Bastards.
Yeah. You know,
That's
it
what
could
it is.
be.
That was that how many percent? 77%? That was them. PHV drivers.
Similar to that Marylebone one, right? Okay, I'm going to do a very similar example because it's has a central reservation, and that is you are on the north side of Piccadilly, so you're travelling eastbound. 3 taxis are directly opposite you, ranking at Fortnum and Mason. A customer hails you from your side of the street. You can catch eye contact with the point driver on the taxi rank. Is the job yours because those people are on your side of the street, or should the job be instructed to the rank unless they're disabled or can't get to the rank?
Go on, Dave.
That's too wide, and there's an island up the middle. So I'd pick them up.
It's absolutely my fear. I would look at the geezer in the face and say, "What?"
I think that's different to like when you're Marylebone Station.
That's about the same distance.
No, you
it's
can
the
see
same distance.
You're stopped. You can see the guy. They could walk across. He could drive across to you. How does Fortnum Mason going to drive across to you? Was he going to go?
No, he's
down,
still. If he leaves Marylebone Station,
U-turn.
he's still got a U-turn. The other guy. Marylebone Station's got to leave on the left, come out, do a U-turn, and come back around to the station. And I'm going to get a tape measure. I'll bet it's even further to the rank of Marylebone Station from the landmark doorway than it is from one side of Piccadilly to the other.
No.
Well, you think Maryland's wider than...
Yeah,
I think from Marylebone
yeah.
Station rank to the door of the landmark is a wider space than the Fortnum and Mason to the other side of the road.
But I think it's going to be easier to cross over to Marylebone Station than it is...
That wasn't part of my argument.
You got to weigh all these factors up, you know.
I mean, Piccadilly's a busier road for people to cross as well. And
Yeah.
all that. And that's a... You know
And if they're blind, how are they going to get across the road?
Yeah, come on.
A blind person in a wheelchair.
This is again about distance, isn't it? At some point, it becomes too far.
Yeah.
And it's when you're in a quieter street and
You
more
can't argue about that.
controlled conditions, you can point them across or call him across. But Piccadilly, how busy that would be, chucking it down.
So I'm going to give you the answer on this one and then put a couple of 2 cents in. So about 69% of people said, yeah, it's your job on that side, yeah. And then only 31% of people said, instruct them over the rank unless they're disabled or whatever.
There isn't... Right, okay, so now it brings into play that the 31% that said it could be the naive. I'm sorry if you're not the naive, but you could be the naive new driver who's scared.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll be honest, because that's kind of what caught me on this, because I've always kind of gone, well, there's a rank there. Like, you can see me, like, maybe I should pass it over to them. But then the convenience of passing it over, I'm just a bit too paranoid, and that's just my thing.
You're too scared.
I am too scared, yeah. But the other things I want to caveat there with, there was a good comment that someone left, which was, obviously it depends where the customer's going, because if you're heading...
You mean if it's a shit job, we sling it over there? It's a good job, we take it.
Well, but also this comes back to the idea of customer first, right? Because if you're here travelling eastbound, there's no legal breaks in that central reservation to spin round and go westbound. So if they want to go to Knightsbridge, well, you just put that customer through hell that you've got to go through Piccadilly Circus, down and back up on yourself to get westbound. You might as well just pass it over to the rank. And
I think you're back to your Oxford Street one where Cabby said to you, you're being a bit generous. I mean, basically, you're right. You're being very generous to the customer.
But
go over there.
But I think that's kind of a good overarching principle, whereas it is what's best for the customer. No different than if you get stuck in a lot of traffic, you've got a customer on board and you can say, look, the establishment is only down there. If you want to hop out, you're more than welcome to, or I can ride the traffic.
I agree with the comment.
Yeah. Whether it actually happens.
So would you send them across?
I probably would have done beforehand. There's probably been a scenario in the past where I've seen 3 cabs ranking there and I'm going, oh God, there's a long old rank there. And so just instinct kicks in of like...
If you're just short of Burlington House, just before Duke Street.
To get a right turn.
If
I'm back a bit, 100%. But the question was, you're like in line, like eye contact. Yeah, exactly.
You'd reverse up.
I'll turn my lights off.
Dave Frampton is reversing. Dave Frampton is reversing.
Sliding down the seat when you go past the rank.
They'll think it's a driverless car. Yeah. Oh dear, they're good.
What's next?
Well, and also related to that one. Okay, so this was an idea of like across the street, central reservation. Now, what about if you're coming down Orchard Street, so side door
North
of
Orchard
Selfridges, and you've got the M&S rank on the west side. There's cabs ranking there. There's no central reservation there. If someone hails you from Selfridges Food Hall.
That's mine again. Sorry.
I didn't put, this one wasn't in the survey, but someone put it in the comments saying that.
You see them picking up from the opposite side of it all the time. Again, if it's pouring rain, an old girl, 4 shopping bags, what are you going to do? Cross the road, love.
You can't make, again, the rank's feeding that side. It's for the M&S. It can't be doing every job. It's doing one job, and that's it. You're coming along the other side of the road. I'm afraid that would be my fare. And I think it's not great customer service to be sending them or stopping and saying, look, cross the road there. No, I'm here. The luxury is I want to hail the cab, look like I'm off of Sex in the City or something, and jump in the cab and drive off. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, it came up because I think the person who left that comment was like, well, look, maybe I rank there a lot, and it probably does suck if you are ranking there. But then again, that's the trade-off of ranking, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, you are ranking for a specific venue, kind of. That's the idea. You're not ranking for the whole area. You can't cover all bases on all the ranks. That's my view.
Nice.
I think it happens everywhere, doesn't it? And it doesn't happen deliberately. People are not deliberately swinging in front of the point.
No. The only time it might bother you is if it's super quiet. And then if it's super quiet, there's probably not very much traffic. Everybody, you're seeing everything happen in slow motion. And it's kind of like we're sitting here and you're taking that right in front of our eyes. Maybe, but it's busy. It's a busy area. And you're on that rank because someone's going to come out 5 minutes after.
Right, so let's use it. I think the example that always comes up a lot of us is like Bedford Street Strand, right? So let's just say you're pulling out onto the Strand. Cabbie lets you out, and that cabbie is light off, and you're looking for a job, right? Mm-hmm. You're now the lead cab.
Yeah.
But you notice that cab driver behind you puts their light back on. So who's lead cab?
You are. If his light was off, his light was off.
Yeah, his light was off.
Even if it's a mistake, it's his mistake.
Yeah.
So if I did that, it would be my mistake, and I put it on, and I would accept that I'm now second.
So I wonder whether this has got a bit of a weird skewed answer because it's one that's like the second question in the survey. 68.5% said cabbie should have had his light on. He can't be the lead cab with his light off. And 31.5% of people said gesture to let the driver behind overtake. It's then up to that driver to decide. I'm
going to go on the naivety factor of this one again. I think they're being naive.
Yeah.
The light was off. You are the front cab. It was his fault. But this opens up a small other question. I call it wagon training, like the Kings Road and the Fulham Road. You're 10 cabs, all lights on.
Yeah.
You are all the front cab for any person that steps out into the street from any street that they come out of. So trying to be in front doesn't make any difference because certainly Fulham Road, Kings Road, they're coming up the side streets. They walk out into the Kings Road and they flag the cab.
Yep.
And the times you've seen it, the cab in front has just cleared the corner. They've stepped out. They've waved you.
That's why I love like Harley Street and Wimpole Street because it's a one-way street. There's no like going back and getting the job or someone housing the other side of the street. It's just straight. And if they've missed it, you are travelling west on Pall Mall and you are light on. The taxi behind you is also light on. Now, traffic's heavy by Waterloo Place. So the cab behind you takes the left into Waterloo Place. You proceed ahead, but you see that the taxi that was previously behind has now rejoined Pall Mall and is continuing in the same direction. They are now the lead cab, but a car separates you and that taxi.
Yeah, it's the lead cab.
Yeah, it wouldn't bother me.
No, it's the lead cab.
I think you'll be overthinking things, wouldn't you, and all that. He may have gone in there, or she may have gone in there for any reason.
You had the chance of picking up the Reform Club or whatever else as you went past. So, you had the chance to get in fares before he came back out to rejoin the traffic. So as he rejoins the traffic and he's in front. But it goes back to the wagon training. There are now fares that walk out of shop that as they come out the shop, he's passing and you're there. It just deals you a different hand of fate that day for whatever's going to happen. Yep. So you ain't worth arguing over, and certainly he's the lead cab.
Well, 51% said the other driver knows. I mean, again, it might be how I've framed these answers or whatever, but the answer I put that 51% of people picked was that the other driver knows exactly what they're doing. They should honour the fact that you should be the lead cab.
No.
That's when you assume everyone's trying to do something to you.
Yeah,
True.
they might have just took a different line to pick up a different fare in a different place, and they moved marginally faster than you did, and ended up back out in front of you just out of fate. You can't argue that they did it on purpose. That wouldn't necessarily be true at all.
Yeah, so then the 37% answer was that if the other driver wants to go to that much effort, they can be the lead cab.
So your question is leading on the basis that they have deliberately sped around a corner to speed up, to come back and rejoin the traffic, to deliberately be in front of you, when in actual fact, mine and your perception is they turned off to see another vein of traffic to see if there's a fare, and rejoined luckily.
Here's another one, and I think this came up in the comments, is that Bayswater Road eastbound, as you're approaching into Lancaster Gate, the station rather, you've obviously got all the hotels within Lancaster Gate itself, but the traffic builds up quite a bit on Bayswater Road now. So what a lot of drivers do is they go into Lancaster Gate, go past all the hotels, and they cut out by the chorus, and usually it skips all the traffic, and they have the added advantage of going round the hotels. What's your take on that?
Same. Wherever you end up with front cab, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. I think there's another way of looking at this. You're driving along the King's Road. You're in 10 cabs. All have got their lights on. I'll turn left. I'll turn onto the Fulham Road, and I'll turn right, and I'll turn left onto the King's Road, and I'll turn left, and I'll turn right, and I'll turn left. So I'm doing a zipper, and they're doing the straightforward. Wherever I end up in any of these wagon trains that are on the thingy, I am the cab of where I am in position. There is no front or back unless someone's letting me out. So you can leave the road you're on and rejoin it wherever you want. And I don't think anybody, that would be very bizarre, to leave that lane of traffic, duck and dive 5 streets as fast as you possibly could to rejoin, to deliberately be in front of somebody, which is what the questions kind of insinuate. That's very strange behaviour, and that would definitely lead to the idea of, if you want to go to that much effort, son, then you can have that. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, I think everyone sees, they're trying to see bad in something. They're going, they've done that deliberately.
Are you calling me a pessimist, Dave?
They're sort of seeing good in everyone.
I make you right.
And there is some bad people, yes, but they're the ones you just say, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Turn left or right, go a different way and do something else if it's bothering you. And that's not to say some people are out there, but who on earth would you be able to think like that? If I go down here, I might be able to nip in them for
No, but Dave, I would do the opposite though. I am sitting behind you, and I can see all the way up Pall Mall, and I can think, well, if there's one fare that comes out, he's going to get that. But if I duck off, I might get the other person on the other streets.
You know where this used to be sort of a thing was when you went round the Aldwych, back when the Aldwych kind of was like a giant roundabout, obviously. When you're travelling westbound, so you've come from Fleet Street and you're going towards the Strand. Yep. You go underneath that south bit, and you had the church in the middle. It was like an island, wasn't it? Yeah. If the traffic's bad, you can go, I'm going to nip round and then nip back in the lanes. Now, I can't remember the exact lane layout, because one of them would take you around the Aldwych, and one would take you straight over into the Strand.
So you're saying if you came out the other side and you was in front?
Well, it's a similar thing, isn't it? It's like if you're behind, like lots of people are in that right-hand lane to say, right, I'm turning right to go around the Aldwych. But some people just go, right, I'm going to go around the church and cut in.
I think that goes to your other Haymarket question, where I'm now feeding the right side of the road. You're now feeding the left side of the road. It's kind of separate.
But even though, again, I can't remember what the layout of the road was, even though I think it might have, maybe the arrow's on the floor at that point. But
you think you're in the right-hand lane to turn right back into the Aldwych?
Exactly, yeah.
I think also, whatever street you're talking about, if you've got 5, 10, whatever cabs with lights on, all going along, as you say, in the wagon train, we're covering, just say it's the King's Road, you're covering the King's Road brilliantly.
Yeah.
But if you all split up and zigzag, so we're covering more roads, aren't we?
Yes. I always zigzag. Don't tell anyone that on the podcast, but you are better off zigzagging.
Yeah. Pounds go left, pennies go right, or whatever someone wants to say.
I don't know what that means, Tom.
I heard someone say it once, and I don't really know what it means.
If you was coming out of, say...
What's the idea that if there's no one if there's no cab in front of you, you're more likely to... There's no point following a load of cabs.
No.
You might as well turn off down a ridiculous...
Unless it's busy, because King's Road, as you know, the King's Road, they're literally stepping out the shops, taking their fare. And that brings up the scenario of the ducks in the fairground. You're waiting for the duck to go past and you hook it. So it doesn't matter. There's millions of ducks. You're just waiting for one that's going to be hooked from the side.
Yeah, true, yeah.
So it can be that way. But in general... I always found on the King's Road that people walk from the side streets to the King's Road to hail the fare. So when you turn up those streets, they think, oh, the cabs come up the street, so you get it that way.
If you're working, aren't you?
Yeah.
No, but as in, they'd be like, the sort of customers who are already telling you to go in a certain direction as they're hailing you down.
Yeah.
Those sort of people. They're like, I'm going that way.
Yeah, they're
You
doing
know-
that, but you're going home, so you're going
So you point that way.
Right, you are looking for a job. A cabbie is dropping off in front of you. Let's use the Strand Palace Hotel as an example here. So you're looking for a job. A cabbie is dropping off in front of you. The driver is not blocking the road, and you are free to pass. You notice a new set of passengers getting directly into his taxi.
I've got my view on this.
I know what your view is. Yeah. That's your job. That's your view on everything. Every job is yours.
That's your job. They probably saw the convenience of that taxi pull up. They're waiting for them.
It's your job, as in, sorry, you're saying that you're dropping off. You are then entitled to that next job to come in.
No, that passenger wants you. They're waiting for you because they're waiting for that cab to empty. They're going to get you, and on that basis, that's the customer service. They're getting in. The guy who's coming by, I'm sorry, it's a little bit of bad luck, a little bit of circumstances different.
So if you're behind, so the question was framed as though you're the person behind watching all this happening. So you're the driver of that cab. So
you're sitting there waiting, and the passenger is standing at your window waiting to get in as the passengers get out, and you've got to say to them, you need to go to the cab behind. There is probably a borderline there to that decision, but in most cases, that passenger is waiting for me. They've basically held you, even though you ain't got your light on yet. The cab behind is not in the same vicinity as you, so you're kind of on an invisible rank.
Dave?
Myself, no, I probably wouldn't feel comfortable taking that one. If there's someone there empty, with a light on, and
You're
I'm
making me look
driving.
heartless.
No, I probably would lean. I'd lean towards an offer. In other words, saying like there's a job here. If they carry on by or whatever, then
there's so many different permutations to this, though, David.
Yeah, again, it's the same thing. It's got to be someone who's able-bodied, pouring a rain. And
there is an example like this later on where the scenario is a little bit different.
All right. Well,
so
my
I'll
idea would be
that.
this: he's come to the window. I don't even know they want a cab. They're standing there on the side of the street, right? I'm dealing with the passenger, old school, taking their money through the window, and they're standing there waiting. That cab who's behind me should have overtook by now, or just got on with his day. He doesn't know. So in general, that person hasn't held you. They're literally standing there waiting for the cab to empty. So they've not made any signal or gesture. And you finish your fare and they say, oh, sorry, can you take me to High Holborn? Yeah, get in. But there's a cab sitting behind you. What do you do? I don't know. It's my job, I'm afraid.
Tight, I would say that.
I'll give you the fact it's tight. Yeah.
57% of people said that if you're that second most cab, it should be your job. The other driver should alert you to the job. Share the love. 31% of people said it's the driver who's dropping off because, as you say, the passengers are free to pick any taxi. And I put another little option in there just as about 11% of people said you can pull up and wait behind, and then it's up to the passengers to decide, and or the driver, and the driver to then say, now get in the cab behind.
He should have drove off, shouldn't he, the cab behind? So, again, that kind of is close.
It's a split decision, that one.
Not for me.
Well, it is quite a bit of a difference. 57% say it's not the driver's job dropping off. 31% say it is.
Yeah. The fact then comes into play that, okay, it's not exactly 50%, it's 7% away from being 50%, but these are kind of split decisions that certainly should not cause an argument or a debate. You should just get on with it.
Right.
But you could make a decision or a law for this, and the law would be the law that I say, which is that it's your fare.
Here's the thing, if I was the one behind, how would I know that he hadn't arranged that?
Yeah.
This is pre-booked, dropping off. We're assuming.
He's got an app job that's going straight away from there.
So the assumption is...
How about this scenario? This is a real scenario. This is hotel rank. You're fourth on the hotel rank. And an app goes off, which you've forgotten you've got on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a job. And it's not by the hotel.
It's where you are.
It's the person's account on their card. It's for where you are.
Mm.
Do you take it?
Yeah.
Would you take that, Tom?
I probably wouldn't. Only on the basis that.
Oh, no.
No, would I? No, because sometimes I've had it where, like, you'll be, again, Sloane Square example, there might be one that then goes off around the corner, and I'm just more afraid of, like, leaving the rank and then accepting and then they cancel or something. Can you?
No,
just
this
lost your
person's
position in the
walking
rank.
up to you.
Yeah, I
They've seen
know.
your
That's what I
registration.
mean, yeah, and they
They're
see
now
you
gonna
in the
give
rank.
You fourth.
That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, fourth.
This has actually happened.
Well,
It's your job.
okay.
It's your job.
It was my
Well,
job.
it is
It's
because
your job to take.
they've booked you
Yeah.
in the same way if you've had a pre-booked job, but also it's like the idea of if there's 5 cabs in front of you that are all TX4s and you've got 6 people,
Yeah.
they've got to go down the rank and pick the one that's right for them.
Right, you
In
can
their
have-
case, the app job is because they might be doing it on an account with work. That's why they're using the app.
Yeah, this particular one was a set fare. So that's why they've used the app and paid with their card. It was their thing, and it was quite like
felt
it is now,
embarrassed?
Kipper.
You felt embarrassed?
No, I never got the phone and actually held it up to the drivers to show them that if I didn't take it, someone else is going to drive in and drive past us all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what are we to do? Not take it?
Yeah, and the others weren't on the app.
No, then none of them had it on. Oh, I forgot it was on. It went off as I was sitting back, and I just hit it and went, "Oh, what do you do now?"
Well, you've done.
And they're walking. I can actually see them in the mirror walking to the back, checking the registration. They're on me already, and I just went, held the phone up and said, "It's gone off. If we don't take it, someone else is going to drive in past us."
You said the one now, which everyone should know, which I used to be explained to you in your talk when your finals was done, that a passenger can choose any cab from the rank, which we all know through any degree of experience, and it could be based on colour, it could be based on model, and
How
it could be
clean
based
it
on
is.
lucky numbers. I always take the third cab in the line. Whatever. So if you didn't know that, that's absolutely true. The passenger can take any cab they like from the rank.
So we're going to go back to that Strand Palace hotel example, but this time, right? So you're dropping off a customer at Strand Palace Hotel. As you're dropping off, I'm just worth noting that the previous question I didn't actually mention the Strand Palace. I just mentioned it for our benefit. But as you're, you're dropping off a customer. As you're dropping off, a light-on taxi is stuck directly behind you as there is heavy traffic, meaning that they cannot pass. Your original customer gets out. A new customer comes to your window and asks if you can take them.
Okay, I see this one slightly differently.
Yeah. How is it different?
He can't get by. He's stuck. And he has nowhere to go. He's the lead cab. That's it. I'm kind of feel that I would be nicking his fare then. You've stopped him from carrying on working. I mean, technically, if he'd have passed you, it'd have been gone anyway. So you could argue, if he could pass, he'd be gone and the fare wouldn't be there.
So this is the thing, like, I don't know if I want to say about it in the question, but is the customer coming directly? Yeah, no, but is the customer coming directly out of the hotel?
Yes. Can I change my
Or
answer?
is the customer up the road and then you're blocking the cab from getting the customer that's then up the road?
No, it's your fare. It's your fare. He's come out, your lights off, you're paying for the thingy, that passenger's come to the thingy, there's a cab behind you, lights on, that customer can walk to that cab if they want to, or they can think to themselves, when I get in that cab behind, he's behind this cab, and this cab's got a clear run or whatever he's doing. He's the cab in front. I'm standing at this cab. I'm waiting for this cab. I want this cab. So it's the passenger choosing the cab that they want.
I don't think passengers put too much thought into it or etiquette.
So you want to send him back, yeah?
No, I just don't think they do. I just think most of them will come out and just go,
They want
"Look,
that cab."
taxi. They're not looking down the street.
What? Okay, then. So
who's got their lights
let
on
me
or
just
off.
extend that a bit further. Then, so let's just say you're blocking the cab behind. Your passengers get out. You carry on driving down the street. So you've been blocking a light-on taxi that whole entire time.
Yeah.
Should you then let that
You should
light-on
let 'em
cabbie
by.
back in
You should
front?
let 'em by, yeah.
And I can see this being really seriously borderline, but even I am on the basis that I will pull over and let him pass.
Yeah, you should let him by. So then it should be his job then, shouldn't it?
But
If the
I
job's
wouldn't-
then up the road,
yes.
but if it's kind of where you stand,
Mm.
I don't know. Well, do you want to know the respondents on that one? That was a bit more of a majority on that one.
Go on then.
93%, and this the way I've worded it is almost like one in, one out. So it's not like you've been pulled off or whatever. 93% of people said that you should instruct them to the taxi behind because you blocked that taxi driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do they know?
And
I
only
would agree with that,
6.4% is Dean.
Did you answer
Which
that
of
survey
respondents
multiple
have-
times?
I can't remember. No, I think it's not as clear cut, but the fact is he could have gone by you. The fact is the passenger does have a choice. It's their choice. It's customer service to take people. You are not out there worrying about other drivers all the time.
Have you not stopped him from working though?
If he'd have gone by you, that fare wouldn't be there.
But you've stopped
He'd
him from
already gone
working,
past that
haven't
fare, wouldn't he?
you? Yeah, but he couldn't
No,
go by
he's
you.
stuck in the traffic. But what if, right, then, trying to manipulate the scenario,
It's to benefit
your
you.
passenger gets out, right? And then no passenger gets in. You stopped him from working, which is your second scenario, isn't it? You've now put your light on. He then drives past you. Instantly as he goes past you, someone flags you. do you have to send him to the one in front? He missed it by a second.
No, I think that's just like tough titties.
That's
like
fate.
you cut in front. That's
Well, most
fate.
of these scenarios are all tough titty.
No,
That's the thing.
One you've just said there, you can't ask someone to chase the cab up the street.
No, he's braked. He's hit the brakes because they will. He'll hit the brakes. He's literally gone by you, and as he's in front, he's literally just the length of his cab in front. Person's come out the street, literally parallel with you, and says you.
This is where he comes
Right?
down to
And now
distance.
he's caught it in his mirror. He's nicked my fare, and he bangs over, and he's coming now out of his cab, walking to your cab, opening the door and saying to the passenger, "Get out! You're my fare. Come on!" And you're like, "What are you doing, mate?"
What'd you say? No, this is my wife.
Yeah, I have had that once. I have had it.
What, you got out for someone?
No, I went up to London Palladium to pick up my mum and my sister and my cousin, my nieces and nephews from seeing. I can't remember what show it was. Might have been ABBA. And I'm coming to pick them up, and you're picking them up, and then there's people on the rank, or there's people tumbling out, and then you're driving along with, and there's a cabbie's come beside me. He said, "I saw what you did there." And I said, "What did you see?" "I've got your number. I'm sending it in and whatever." And no complaint ever come through, but it was my mum and my sister. And it's like, you've got to bear in mind, sometimes we are on a private job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're supposed to get out and give him a big hug, aren't you? Like,
Yeah, give him a big hug, guy. You know, if it's your other half, like get tongues involved and
You've got to, haven't you? You've got to let
make it obvious.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Kiss
Big
on, you know.
welcome back sign, like welcome home.
You ain't got no obligation to try and make it obvious to anybody, yeah.
You're just an antagonist. You
Yeah.
want to get people riled up.
No, I don't.
That's why
I
you're
don't.
nicking so many jobs. You just like confrontation.
It's funny that it's coming out this way, because I think I'm very, very
Liberal.
conservative. No, I am very relaxed on all of these, and I would never fight over any fare. And I do think that every scenario you're judging it, the rules are not clear. You could make decisions and rules that are based around this, and the fact that even anybody disagrees with any one of these questions shows you that there's bandwidth to be different.
Yeah.
And it would be great to have these decisions where we have an etiquette decided upon. Like you said about the history of these of etiquette, it must stem from a development of incidences where we decide these
it's
things.
also like doing good as like coming back to the whole reason why I wanted to make this and what I learned from that book that William, whatever his name was, wrote, William Hanson, I think it is that it just comes back to being a good human being, like doing right for your fellow man and woman, like so everyone gets along fine. So in that instance there of blocking the cab driver behind, sometimes the mental model I use is that if I'm blocking the cab driver behind, they've got their light on, they might have been searching for a job for an hour. So it is a bit of a piss take if they get out of my cab and jump straight back in.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the scenario, if I do like to think I'm a good person.
I don't think you can block someone from working and then just
No, I think,
reasonably take the job,
if you
yeah.
could see it, I mean, because there are other factors I'm considering. What if you're not looking? You're not really right. You should be looking in your mirror. You'd have checked. You'd have seen him sitting there. They'd be giving you the face, and you say, "Listen, yeah, I'd probably send it back 9 times out of 10." If you've changed certain degrees of these factors and manipulate it, there are scenarios where maybe you
Yes,
won't.
yeah, like there's a lot of edge cases, and that was what I wanted to try and make with this.
It's very difficult.
There's not a hard and fast rule. We're not calling anyone out. It's just like it's just interesting to talk about.
How
Yeah.
about if you was to drop someone off at Harrods, there's no one on the rank, it's
Yeah.
empty, and you pull forward of the rank on the Brompton Road,
Oh,
just
yeah.
in front of it,
Mm-hmm.
and you drop off. And as you're dropping off and they're paying, someone approaches the window, and you look in the mirror, there's no one on it. By the time you've paid and that person got in, one's there, and the person's just getting in. What are you going to do? Say, get back out? Or at what point is it
Yeah,
yours?
that's the
you
thing.
know?
It's yours all the time. Just because, again, it's the
You've
customer
checked, haven't
service
you? You have
part.
looked.
Yeah.
Yes,
Once
there's no
you've
rank
said to
there.
them, okay, and they're in, you can't, some reason will say, get back out again.
Yeah.
But someone could be coming along who could have had a better view of you going, hang on, that's my...
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you've only got the mirror, and you did check.
Yeah. My advice there is drop off on the front of the rank.
You would turn your mirror around like that.
I'm coming off quite bad here.
I think it's reasonable to have a look. And
I always,
direction
yeah, always
behind
look
you.
at, am I blocking someone? What's
Is there
going
anyone on
on?
the rank behind me?
Yeah.
If there's not, and they're in, and of course there's sod's law, someone will pull up just as they go with the door.
Yeah.
But it's too late then.
Well, a
Surely,
popular
you
one, of
can't
course,
ask
as
them
well,
to.
and I'm sure everyone's been possibly guilty of it, who knows, but it's when it's like really at the height of Harrods time and he's dropping off on the rank because there's no one there, if there's no one behind you, and you can tell that there's generally the streets are quite busy, you drop off near the back, and then once you drop off, you can then move forward and get it. Yeah,
that's the trick.
But yes, no, shouldn't really be, but because of the zigzags and that, I mean, you can't really drop your before the rank.
This is the thing,
but it's a long enough rank.
Paying by card as well, because sometimes it take a little time, can't it, for the transaction to go through.
That's the worst thing,
isn't it? So you're paying by card, and everything's like, okay, and it changes because it's not gone through. You're sitting there waiting,
or people who are given the change in in chronological order. Yeah. That's 1992. Yeah. That's 94.
Quick, there's a cab coming.
And there was 4 jobs. Now there's none, and there's 5 cabs in front of you.
You are light on, travelling west along Euston Road, and you intend to turn left into Upper Woburn Place, though you've not indicated this yet. The taxi behind, also light on, overtakes you and decides to turn left into Upper Woburn Place. What is the situation?
I don't think he should have done that. Was he gone directly in front of you?
Yeah, directly in front of you and gone, I'm going to go left in Upper Woburn Place.
Oh, no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
It is wrong, but now what then happens? So basically, I gave 2 answers here. One is, I'm entitled to take the left into Upper Woburn Place. Yes. I was the lead cab, and I was going to go that way. Yep. And then, maybe this is probably a bit of a dud question, really, but the second option was, let it go, make a new plan.
Yeah, you could always let it go, but he's wrong. He's overtook you, and he's took away your options of what you were planning to do. He can't go in front of you and he can do it from behind you. Yes. If you're sitting there, he can turn left whenever he wants and now take a new plan, but you can't do that. That's definitely wrong. Was that a clear-cut one, or did I get that one wrong?
I think, again, it might have been because of the way I positioned the answers, but about 66% of people said...
44% said no?
34%. No, 34% said let it go, make a new plan.
Oh, you didn't give 3 options.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Was it wrong?
Yeah, well, I think we all know it was wrong.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a dud question.
Yeah. Sorry. So everyone does know it's wrong.
Yeah,
right. Wrong. It's January. You're desperate to get work, so try to join the back door of Harrods rank. It's clearly overranking. What do you do? Here's the answers. 1. Get creative with overranking, but in a way that doesn't block traffic. 2. I'm only joining if I get a clear shot onto the marked rank itself. And the third option, fuck traffic, it's Kipper, I need a job, don't care if I'm blocking traffic.
I know mine.
I'll say overrank.
Ever?
No.
Never overrank.
I have to say, when you go past Selfridges, for instance, and you see 2 wheels hanging off the back of the pavement, which is already overranked by a cab, and only front 2 wheels hanging on, you think,
desperate.
And what a bad image that is when you see them sitting there blocking buses that can't get by, and you just think, what are you doing?
Just as much random luck of going past the rank and picking up a fare and sitting there over.
There's another one that you probably haven't seen, Dean, yet, because you.
Dave, you
one day a year you're out in the cab.
Yeah, I had a dig.
And Tom would have seen it. You come in north now, isn't it? But
yeah.
Praed Street, the pop-up rank in Praed Street.
Yeah.
It was never there, but it's gone because they put a cycle lane with these wands all the way along.
Yeah.
And I come by there only this week, and there was 2 at the front parked in the wands on the cycle lane, and 1 at the back. He was acting as a feeder because I couldn't stop laughing. As I've gone by, 1 pulled out. He came out, went along the wands, and went in and parked on the cycle lane. And I went, my God, they've got a feeder, a pop-up feeder.
Wow, an imaginary rank. That's disgraceful. They should be ticketed.
I want to get to that one, but I'll just quickly move on this one. So 71% of people said only if you can get on the marked rank itself. 27% of people said get creative with overranking, but in a way that doesn't block traffic. So.
Yeah, but they do block traffic, don't they?
Yeah,
that was your example, that Oxford Street was blocked.
But how much though? Like, as in, like, you can see. Again, this is me playing with the edge cases here, but you've got, I don't know, let's say that backdoor rank takes 6 cabs. You're pulling up. You can see that might be about to move.
Oh, so you're only overranking for a second because it's going to be...
You should be crawling towards it.
Yeah.
But how about if you did it so at Tower Hotel, that's private land. You can overrank there.
Oh.
And you're not blocking, are you? It's private land, and you're not blocking because you sit there. There's
in
a
the
little
car
cross
park.
in there, in the car park. Yeah, so overranking there wouldn't bother me at all. It's different again. Oxford Street,
yes,
Brompton Road, overranking on.
But what about so you
roads.
say it's private road, but then let's just say on the back door of Harrods, there's like parking bays there.
Oh yeah, that'd be right.
That's what I'm saying. So people like
That'd be
what happens is that people it'll be the ranks there, then there'll be people in this bit, this bit, this bit.
Yeah, but the thing about that though is I don't know your ranking, do I? You're over-ranking in your
Yeah, you have to assume that there's
creative
overranking,
way.
yeah.
And now I've come along and literally the taxi's moved up one.
Are
I'm
you
on.
allowed to jump in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're not-
What's your etiquette on that then?
Well, you're not on the rank, I'm afraid. Wherever you are sitting there doing your imaginary ranking, I am coming along. The rank is now empty. I know this is the back of the rank, and I'm on.
Yeah.
You would have to have been there. And he might come and say, look, mate, I was ranking up. No, you weren't, mate. You were sitting in a parking space doing creative stuff. I don't know what you're doing. So you're
Didn't
not.
think about it. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I think I'd have let him go on there. I'd have let, cause
You don't know-
I
you
could have
don't-
done the same.
I'm
I
not
could have gone,
saying-
he's at the same thing. They're about to move up. There's perfectly legal spaces that I can sit for a couple of minutes. Not double red routes. Not
You don't know.
zigzags.
You don't know he's waiting for that rank.
You can see the light on tap and ask him. It's that smaller street. You could say, "Are you going to go over here? Because I'll come in here or I'll come behind you." It's that small. You can
Okay,
reach out and touch his window.
Yes, all right. My basis
We're
is
not
the
talking
fact that
about
I don't know.
Piccadilly.
I don't know that he's
Cross.
waiting on that rank, and if you don't know or you don't see it or you're just not paying attention to that, and you get that space come up, you are technically the back of the rank. Now he could come and say to you, "I was ranking up there," and you could say, "Oh, I'm really sorry, mate. I didn't know." But really and truly, now you're going to swap places. It's too difficult. But you could both be in the right. Just accept it. You were sitting there being creative, as you said, being creative ranking. I might have been looking to the right just to see if there was a fare. I don't notice him at all. The rank space is opened and I'm on it. That's it.
I think double red route, zigzags, major, anything like that, or like the tower or something. I think you're okay to overrank if it's a safe space to overrank.
Going back to your parade street, the
Yeah,
pop-up
I was going
rank.
to do that's because you going to ask what I think you're going to
No,
ask.
I
a
don't know.
question
I was
later.
basically going
etiquette.
to say, not etiquette, you are nicking the jobs of the people that are doing the job properly, who are actually legally for hire, who are driving along Parade Street. They're the legal for hire cab. The ones sitting are not the legal for hire cab because there isn't a rank there. So they shouldn't be doing that. So they're nicking the job of the randomness, which is our job.
They're tatting.
Yeah, they're tan. So,
Yeah, which I think gives you the answer of what was going to it comes up later on in this
sorry,
survey.
mate.
So no, it's all right. It's Kippersees and several rank drivers have created a pop-up rank outside Hilton, Paddington, Parade Street. Hand goes up for you opposite the rank. Do you point them to the rank because those drivers have been waiting there patiently, or do you take the job because the rank is a pop-up, so those drivers have no right? I think I know what your answer's going to be.
you know what, though? I lost concentration and focus completely. I didn't even hear the question.
Basically, what you just said.
I was starting to fall asleep in my own mind.
He's about 4 questions back, doing jobs and nicking jobs early, isn't he? He thinks it's real. He's there arguing with himself about points. You completely lost it now, aren't you? You're still like round Harrods thinking, no, it's my job.
His mouth was just going like this.
I have that effect on people. I'm sorry.
Take nothing.
Yeah, you're still at Harrods going, it's my job. It's my job. If it's a pop-up rank, and Parade Street is the for instance, but it could be any pop-up rank for that matter, they're tatting, would you, and someone puts a hand out and you stop, would you direct them over to the pop-up rank or would you take the job?
Oh, I'd take the job.
No, we know you would take the job. You'd take any job.
It's an illegal rank. I'm not going to send you to the illegals. It'd be like sending you to a minicab.
Yes.
We're not minicabs. No, it's an illegal rank. Is my job. Was that the question? Because
Yes.
twice I misheard it.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
couldn't even listen to you saying.
So the answer, 82% of people said take the job, and then 17% said those drivers have been waiting patiently.
So
No, sort of.
they're the
Don't
ones.
make patiently for. They're illegal.
17% of the Parade Street rank. I've been here ages. He's going.
All the Parade Street guys. Like, that's
You
it,
can
that's
see why I had to make this anonymous, can't you?
brilliant.
I want to know which one of the 17% is in the feeder rank. Who's that Parade Street feeder? It's a cycle lane, isn't it?
Are they actually? But
Honestly.
blocking the cycle lane's got to be a ticket.
They're on
straight
it.
away.
They're completely four-wheeled on it.
They're-
Four-wheeled on the cycle lane.
Have they
The
ran
ones,
over the ones?
then the ones start. Remember the old ramp? You remember how Paddington used to be, Eastbourne Terrace, where
yeah.
you used to drive in and drive down and up, and
Yeah,
you
the
come
good
out
old
that
days.
bit sort of. That's that bit where you come up there on the Parade Street. That's where the ones start there, so they can nip on the front of that Eastbourne Terrace bit, and then they block the cycle lane completely. Yeah, and then they run along the wands and go in and block the other side. So the cabs are constantly blocking the cycle lane. And then, God, I mean, how can anyone think that's all right?
This is not good for us. This
No.
is not good.
No.
So if you're doing that, stop it.
I don't get what the fascination is. I mean, there's a traffic warden there as well. I think maybe just people like the risk or something, you know? They just get a bit of a kick out of it. Or traffic wardens come in. I'm in the cycle lane. Like, that's just and it added up the stakes to them that they've got these cycle ones now, probably.
But can you imagine Dean coming on? Because the wands would be flying in the air and he drives through trying to get the job. It's my job.
Get out. Never fight anyone for a job.
Right. More passenger focused. We've had this a few times on the podcast, but I know it's a particular interest. You are the second taxi in a 2-cab job. Do you always try to follow the taxi in front no matter what route they decide to take? Or if the driver is taking what I know to be a slow route, I'll crack on with my own route.
Etiquette. Follow the driver.
Always follow it, Always try to.
Yes.
Sometimes they will roar off.
And then you lost them,
And it doesn't matter then. You just do your best. And it's simply to keep the family or whatever it is together.
Well, amazingly, 31% of people said if they're taking what they know to be a slow route, crack on with your own.
No. It's that bad. This is a real good etiquette question that you're saying.
Yeah.
We do not want to make each other look bad.
Yes.
You both arrive and the passengers are standing there waiting and they've paid £14 and they're paying you 17. You're cracking on, turned out to be worse than theirs. Now we have mismatching fares, mismatching routes. It's not a competition. It's not who's the best cab driver in the world. Get them there. Don't make each other look bad. It's bad for our industry if it goes like that. Our driver did this, the other driver did that. Always follow.
There was only one comment on there which I didn't really think about, and it was that frontmost cab they might be going somewhere as a dropper. So there might be someone in that frontmost cab saying, "Oh, I need to quickly pop to the pharmacy." The other cab.
Oh, good question.
But of course, I think that comes down to communication, doesn't it?
Yes.
That should be the responsibility of the passengers to say, "Oh, that other cab's going to go there."
True. But you probably all still stay together. You probably sit and wait for them at the
Well, until you get instruction from the passengers.
because they probably want to stay together.
Right. Probably got this last question, and there might be one more. You are light on, following another light on taxi. The taxi in front of you is hailed from the street. After a brief moment, you manage to overtake, but as soon as you do, you notice the taxi did not take the passenger. So, you are now the lead taxi. Sorry, this is the answers here. You are now lead taxi. The previous cabbie should have taken the job. Or, the person might have been asking for directions. Let the previous cabbie back in front.
Oh no. Okay.
No, I think take the job because you can't and make this.
No, it's not about taking the. Are you going to take the job?
Yeah, so basically, so what's happened?
You don't know if it's a job or not.
Yeah, you're both.
If there's a job and goes out, is it yours?
No, but you noticed that the cabbie that pulled over to take the job didn't take the job.
Yes,
I know, but you've overtaken, you've gone, so you're past the job anyway.
Yeah.
And then the next cab just
so
pulls
it's your
away.
job.
No, you're not.
No, no one's taking the job.
You're just now the lead cab.
Yeah, but I'm saying and what difference does it make then?
No. So we don't know what's gone on between the two of them. That guy said, "I want to go to Streatham." And the cabbie said,
"You're now in front of that cab."
Yes.
You're now the front cab.
So what?
So it's basically saying,
unless someone puts their hand out, it don't make no difference. You say you're going to wave them round? I wouldn't wave them round. No. He stopped.
The simple question is, they may have been just saying, "Sorry, do you know where Charing Cross Road is?" And the driver said, "Shit, now I'm not the lead cab."
Yeah. They pulled over. Another cab's got in front. I'm not the lead cab.
You're not the lead cab anymore. It's hard luck.
Yeah.
Tough titty.
Yeah.
Because he could have said, "Want to go to so and so?" No, mate, I'm going the other way. He could be picking.
Yeah.
He could be picking. Yeah, exactly.
If
So
they've pulled over and stopped. They've pulled over and stopped. Carry on. Just get on.
Yeah.
agree. Also, 72% of cabbies also agree with us.
Yeah. So we're right on that one.
28
on that one.
are trying to redeem for bad misbehaviour in the past, probably.
Yeah.
I think we've got one more. You are light on driving down Harley Street, following a taxi that is also light on. A customer comes out of a clinic, hails the front taxi, but the driver initially misses. He realises this and stops about 30 yards beyond the passenger. The passenger is now looking at you, the next taxi, and you have managed to stop outside.
Oh, dear.
Do you tell the customer to walk to the taxi in front as the driver has now stopped and realised? Or it's your job, the cabbie in front missed it?
You might be picking up in that area. Someone's just had a surgery or something. You know, they can't walk 30 yards.
They've had laser eye surgery.
Could have had anything.
Laser eye surgery, true.
Again, it's one of them things you got on the day.
Yeah, I don't want to contradict myself, but I would tell them to go to the cab in front. But if they have had laser eye surgery, I'd tell them to cross the road. No, you don't know. I mean, yeah, it's borderline, but it depending on distance, speed, everything about it, I'd probably tell them to go to get the cab up there, lovers stop for you. I'm presuming it's a woman. The cab up there, lovers stop for you, so go to him.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird split, but 55% said to do that, and 44% said it's your job. Cab in front missed it.
I think if we're going to go legality, it's your job. It's your job. The cab has missed it. But etiquette, which is your whole crux of this issue, and the etiquette is to be good. To be good, we say, he's just caught it, we'll send it down. So legality and etiquette are actually two fundamental
Which is
different
then negated by the passengers' requirements.
Yes. So
And that was the overwhelming, I think, really wrapping this up nicely, is that was kind of what was some of the nice comments that the drivers had left, which was, life's too short to get stressed. Try to respect the choices customers make.
All the best cabbies. Yeah. Anybody who has the attitude of it's too short, to life's too short to get stressed, anybody who's not going to argue with another cabbie over any of this stuff, they're the best cabbies. If you're one of those cabbies that's going to fight and argue for this stuff, then you're probably in the wrong job. It's too much to be done. If you want to take this survey, Tom, I'll put the link in the, what do they call it, below? On our YouTube thing, there's a thing
in
below.
the description box.
Yeah, we're going to put in the description below the link so they can still take the survey again themselves.
Yeah, if they want to do it, maybe we'll make a future one. Maybe someone wants to do it.
Yeah, you could expand on it. If you have any scenarios that you want to suggest that we think we didn't cover, and yeah, if you have any complaints, send them into TFL, not me.